we were in class right now, I'd ask you all to write a quick reflection and get into small groups for discussion. And then we'd open it up to the whole class for some dialogue. But given seating constraints and the grace that you're already showing because you've already gotten your diplomas and you probably want to be out of here, I'm just gonna ask you to think about what part of your life experience allows you to connect with a particular moment of this movie, a particular moment of the scenes that we just watched. There are so many pieces of this film that resonate so deeply with me. Much of what I experience when I watch this film comes from my own experience with self-doubt and failure, but also from what I've learned of each of you in recognizing the universality of doubt. No matter the outward accomplishment, no matter who we are, there is likely not a single person in this space today who does not know what it's like to experience doubt. No one is immune. But you are stronger than you think, and you are never alone. Earlier in the film, Moana is pulled to break with tradition and go beyond the borders of her community to save her dying island. She needs to go beyond the reef. Moana sees the problems of her community and thinks about solutions that are only possible if she does things differently from the chiefs of the past. From her young and inexperienced perspective, to save her dying island, she must break with tradition, but in doing so, she will also bear the disappointment of her father. He's the chief. In a discussion with her mother, where Moana shares this conflict, her mother responds with a compassionate but yet resigned, "Sometimes who we wish we were and what we wish we could do, it's just not meant to be." But because of the love of her grandmother, Moana is able to believe that there is more to her story, more to her capacity to give than would be possible if she were to stay on her island. Taking this chance requires remarkable courage. At the beginning of the clip we just watched, we meet Moana in a moment of ultimate failure. She broke from tradition, risking her relationship with her family and her village because she truly believed that there was more beyond the reef. Now she's in the middle of the ocean. Her boat is destroyed. She's been abandoned by Maui, and Moana has given up, resigned to the narrative of her tradition, her father, and Maui. The ocean chose wrong. Moana is ready to go home. Her despair and anguish and heartbreak are palpable. She has not only let herself down, but she has let down her whole village. It turns out her dad was right. Just like many of us have experienced doubt, I would also imagine that most of us, if we're honest, knows what this kind of failure feels like. Each of us will have our own personal circumstance, but we all know this kind of anguish is real. Moana's grandmother was, yes, the village crazy lady, but she also happened to hold the wisdom of the ages of Moana's people and knew Moana better than anybody else in the whole world. Much in the same way we call on our faith in our moments of darkness. In Moana's greatest moment of despair, it is the spirit of Moana's grandmother that is called to comfort her and console her. And just like the unconditional love of God, grandmother is not disappointed in Moana, but instead is sorry because she has put so much pressure on her. In this moment, Moana's grandmother offers the most valuable of gifts, that of unconditional love and humility. Moana's grandmother makes it clear that she loves Moana no matter what. Being explicitly clear that this unconditional love is not jeopardized by, but born out of all of life's messy complications. We all need extra and unconditional love, but we especially need it when life gets hard. Because of this unconditional love, in her darkest moments, Moana is able to experience both grace and love and finds the courage to forgive herself for her failure and try again. Over the last few years, many of you have come to talk with me at various points in time, perhaps for no other reason that you needed someone to listen. You needed a space to let go of your anguish or sorrow and let someone love you a little bit. You allowed me to take part in helping you find your courage again to get you through whatever it was that was going on. In those moments, I had the honor of playing Moana's grandmother for you. A poor substitute for your family, I know, but I am eternally grateful that you trusted me enough to remind you that you are loved, that you will be okay, and that you are never alone. As Executive Director Nelson discussed in her keynote, our challenges allow us to discover the depth of our capacity. We will never know what we are capable of unless we experience challenge and failure. There are times in all of our lives that we feel like we have no idea what is going on, or that we are complete and total imposters. But the whole point is to learn and to grow, to discover who you are capable of becoming. Just like Maui did not believe in Moana, there will also be people who will not believe in you, and it hurts, and it makes you doubt. We might even start to believe that we're not indeed capable of whatever it is that lies before us. You might consider giving up. Moana gives the heart of Te Fiti back to the ocean. In this moment of isolation and failure, she does not believe she is capable, and she gives up. The ocean accepts Moana's resignation peacefully and without a fight. After all, no one can accomplish a thing for which they do not believe they are capable of. In real life, courage looks a lot different than it does in Moana. We don't travel across an ocean to fight a lava monster. But depending on who we are or what our experience has been, for some of us, just getting out of bed in the morning some days takes a lot of courage. Sometimes going to school or to work can take a remarkable amount of courage. Sometimes facing your friends or family can take a remarkable amount of courage. The word courage comes from the Latin root cor, or heart. In one of its earliest forms, the word courage meant to speak one's mind by telling all one's heart. I like to think about it as having the heart to tell your own story, to live true to your own story. There is no courage without fear, because then it's not really courage, is it? So if you think about it, most of the time courage is not at all about a lava monster. Most days, courage shows up in very insignificant and unhistorical ways. The call of courage, as Moana sings, isn't out there at all. It's inside me. It's like the tide, always falling and rising. You are stronger than you think. If Moana was told at the beginning of her story that it was not to be Maui, but it was indeed her destiny to restore the heart of Te Fiti, do you think she would have been able to do it? Nope. There's no way Moana could have accomplished what she did simply because she did not know herself well enough. Moana was able to accomplish the remarkable things not because she was the strongest or the most experienced or just intrinsically amazing, but because she was able to see the world for what it could be, despite the doubt and disbelief of others. She had the courage and the hope to try what others believed to be impossible. She failed. She hurt. But ultimately, she learned and she tried again and again. It was because of what she learned from her experience, her successes and her failures, that she was able to grow to become the person who ultimately was able to restore the heart of Te Fiti. In our last moments together, I want you to be certain that no matter what you perceive as your failure, the people in this room love you more than you could possibly imagine. Your parents, your family, and friends, I promise you they will never want you to go through any heartbreak on your own. But we are all only human, and if you don't speak up, we may never know what you mean. But just like Moana's grandmother, there is nothing that you could do that could ever lose that love. They love you no matter what. So as we leave today, remember, there is nowhere you could go that we won't be with you. You are never alone. Before we adjourn, I'd like to visit the university's mission statement. The university prides itself on being an environment of teaching and learning that fosters the development in its students of those disciplined habits of mind, body, and spirit that characterize educated, skilled, and free human beings. In addition, the university seeks to cultivate in its students not only an appreciation for the great achievements of human beings, but also a disciplined sensibility to the poverty, injustice, and oppression that burden the lives of so many. The aim is to create a sense of human solidarity and concern for the common good that will bear fruit to justice, bear fruit as learning becomes service to justice. Be true to your roots. Remember who you are and where you come from. But as you leave this campus today, no matter where you started, you now join an elite group. You are now graduates of the University of Notre Dame, and with great power comes great responsibility. Let your learning become service to justice. Take your time, listen, think, cultivate, heal. And when you fail gloriously, become stronger for it, learn, and try again. But no matter what, always remember, you are stronger than you think, and you are never alone. I will ask you to join with me in a moment of prayer. First, I might need a moment, so I have some prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us here today in such a joyous community to celebrate the amazing accomplishments of these young adults. Thank you for watching over them during their last 4 years at Our Lady's University, and we ask that you continue to watch over them as they transition to whatever lies ahead. Please be with us all as we leave these halls today, and may we always remember the words of Jesus from Luke chapter 12, verse 48. From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded, and from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked. As we leave today, help us remember that with you, we are never alone. May we all be so lucky that our work will live out the mission of this great university, that our learning will indeed become service to justice, today and all the days ahead. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2018